Hey there, curious minds. Welcome back to The Deep Dive, where we take on a mountain of information and distill it down to those aha moments you crave. Today, we're diving headfirst into a topic that's, well, it's not really science fiction anymore, is it? It's rapidly becoming our reality, the incredible surge of AI in our personal devices. We're talking everything from the next generation of smartphones to entirely new AI companions, things that might just change how you interact with technology forever. Our sources today are quite varied, spanning cutting-edge product announcements, some really in-depth tech analyses from leading publications, and, importantly, critical ethical reviews, too. This gives us, I think, a really comprehensive look at what's happening and what's coming next.
Exactly. And our mission for this deep dive, really, is to explore how artificial intelligence isn't just improving the devices we already have, but how it's fundamentally reshaping how we interact with technology, and potentially even how we interact with each other. We'll uncover some, frankly, surprising new capabilities, examine the radical shifts in user experience they promise, and crucially, we need to delve into the ethical considerations we all need to be aware of as these technologies become, well, everywhere.
All right, let's jump right in then, because if you think your phone is smart now, just wait until you hear what's on the horizon. It's easy to think of AI in our phones as this brand new thing, right? But the truth is, you've probably been using it for years without even really thinking about it. It's like the unsung heroes working quietly behind the scenes. Just think back a bit about the history of your own smartphone. Remember the early days of voice assistants? Apple's Siri, for instance, that launched? Gosh, all the way back in 2011. That really changed how many of us started talking to our devices.
Right, and Google Assistant followed pretty quickly.
Exactly. And then there's predictive text, that clever feature that guesses your next word, maybe even the whole phrase, saves you countless taps every day.
We take it completely for granted now.
Totally. Or what about those photo tools? The ones that automatically enhance your pictures, smooth things out, or even recognize faces in your albums. Makes organizing so much easier.
Or even just finding that one picture of Aunt Carol.
Yeah, exactly. Even things like music recognition apps, Shazam and the like. They seem simple now, but that was early AI identifying complex patterns. These weren't magic, though. They were like foundational AI. Mostly rule-based systems or sophisticated algorithms responding to specific commands or patterns you started.
They really laid the groundwork. They showed the potential for intelligence right there in our pockets. But as you said, they were largely reactive, waiting for us.
Right.
Building on that point, what we're seeing now is, well, it's a profound evolution. We've moved beyond just recognizing things or predicting the next word. We're leaping into something far more dynamic, genuinely transformative, generative AI.
Okay, generative AI. Define that for us in this context. How is it different?
The difference is pretty significant. Traditional AI, like we just talked about, mostly identifies and processes data that already exists or follows rules we set. Generative AI, though, it's about the device actively creating new things, new content, generating new actions, maybe even composing music or images, often right there on the fly, based on your input.
So it's not just seeing the cat in the photo, it's drawing a new cat if I ask it to.
Exactly, or drawing it in the style of Van Gogh, or writing a little poem about the cat. It's creating, not just recognizing or reacting. And the scale of this shift, it's immense, and it's happening fast. Industry predictions are pointing towards over 1 billion smartphones equipped with generative AI being shipped by 2027.
1 billion? Wow, so this isn't some niche thing for tech nerds.
Not at all. It's going mainstream, fast, touching a huge chunk of the global smartphone market. And this changes your user experience fundamentally. It means much faster processing, often right on the device itself. It means the phone has a far more contextual understanding of what you actually need at that moment. And it unlocks completely new features, things that were just impossible before without, a supercomputer in the cloud or a lot of manual effort.
So the bigger picture here. It's not just phones getting a bit smarter, it's a whole paradigm shift.
That's exactly it. A paradigm shift in what they can actually do for us. Moving from tools that just react to intelligent companions that can proactively create and assist.
And for this huge leap, especially getting this generative stuff running right on our phones, that requires some serious new hardware, right? You mentioned processing on the device. It sounds like a lot of the heavy lifting for AI is moving off the cloud and onto the phone itself. What's the big deal about this on-device AI?
That's a crucial point. This shift is largely enabled by powerful new hardware, specifically new chipsets.
Right, the brains of the operation.
Exactly. We're seeing these incredible advancements. Take Google's Tensor G5 chip, for example. They co-designed it with Google DeepMind specifically to handle these advanced AI tasks right on the phone. Then you've got MediaTek's Dimensity 9300 and Qualcomm's Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. These are powerhouses.
And Qualcomm also has the 8's Gen 3, which is meant to be more accessible, bringing AI to maybe not just the super expensive phones.
Precisely. That's an important step for democratization, bringing those flagship AI features to a broader range of devices. And the benefits of doing this processing on the device are really compelling. First, speed. Data doesn't have to go to the cloud and back, so things happen faster.
Makes sense.
Second, privacy. This is a big one. Because the data, potentially sensitive personal data, stays right there on your device. It's not being processed somewhere else.
Okay, that's huge, especially with AI needing so much data.
Absolutely. And third, it enables these really complex AI experiences to run seamlessly, sometimes even if you don't have an internet connection.
Ah, interesting. Offline AI.
Yeah. Now, it's worth noting, cloud AI isn't going away. It still plays a vital role, especially for certain functions or maybe for more budget-friendly phones that don't have the absolute top-tier chips.
Right. A hybrid approach, maybe?
Often, yes. But the trend is definitely towards more intelligence, more processing power right there in your pocket, closer to you.
Okay, so to really get a feel for what this looks like in the real world, let's zoom in on a concrete example. Google's upcoming Pixel 10 seems like a perfect case study. Google is really positioning it as a showcase for this new wave of AI integration. They're highlighting 9 specific ways AI makes the phone genuinely more helpful, not just, flashy tricks.
That's right. It's presented as this interwoven system designed to anticipate and assist you.
Empowering all of this, you mentioned it before, is the Google Tensor G5 chip. They're calling it their most powerful chip yet.
And that's not just marketing hype about general speed. It's specifically engineered for AI performance boosts and unlocking these new experiences. Crucially, as we touched on, it's the first chip running Google's newest Gemini Nano model.
Gemini Nano, that's the key for the on-device stuff.
Exactly. It allows many of these complex generative AI experiences to run directly on the Pixel 10, faster, more private, more integrated AI right there.
And for the fancier models, the Pro XL, Pro Fold, they're throwing in a year of Google AI Pro. What does that get you?
That gives access to even more advanced tools, particularly for creativity. Things like Imagen 4 for image generation and Veo 3 for video generation, really pushing creative boundaries directly from the phone.
Okay, so let's talk features. What's this Magic Q thing? Sounds intriguing.
It really is intriguing. Magic Q represents a significant step beyond just reacting to your commands. It aims for genuinely proactive assistance. Think of it as your phone connecting the dots across your different apps, Gmail, calendar, your screenshots, messages, and so on, trying to anticipate what you might need next.
Okay, give me an example. How would that work?
All right, so imagine a friend texts you asking, hey, what time does your flight land?
Right, normally I'd have to dig through my email or my airline app.
Exactly. But with Magic Q, the phone sees the context of the message, references your flight itinerary automatically, pulls the landing time, and then suggests sharing that detail right there in the Messages app. One tap, done.
Whoa. Okay, that's pretty smart.
Another example. You call an airline. Magic Q could automatically pop up your relevant flight information right on the screen so you don't have to scramble for it while you're on the phone.
That would be useful.
It can also suggest sending a specific photo if you're talking about it, or sharing dinner reservation details if that's the context.
And privacy, if it's looking at all my stuff.
That's the critical part Google is emphasizing. Magic Q runs securely and privately on the Tensor G5 chip and Gemini Nano. The data stays on your device. And you control what data it can access. You can turn it on or off entirely.
Okay, user control is key there.
Definitely. And it even integrates with something called Daily Hub in your Discover feed, giving you a personalized digest of your calendar, maybe relevant news topics, suggested playlists. It really makes you think, doesn't it? How much mental load could a system like this actually offload from our day-to-day lives, freeing up brain space?
Yeah, it sounds less like a tool and more like a genuine assistant.
Yeah.
Okay, what else? Voice Translate sounds pretty ambitious.
It does. This feature aims to break down language barriers during actual phone calls and in a way that feels, well, surprisingly natural.
How so? Real-time translation isn't entirely new.
True, but the Pixel 10, powered by that Tensor G5, does the real-time translation on the device. And here's the kicker. It does it supposedly sounding like each speaker's actual voice.
Wait, really? Not like a robotic voice reading the translation?
That's the claim, maintaining the vocal characteristics of each speaker to make the conversation feel much more natural, less mediated, fostering a better connection.
Okay, that would be impressive if it works well. What languages?
It works for translating to or from English with quite a few. Spanish, German, Japanese, French, Hindi, Italian, Portuguese, Swedish, Russian, and Indonesian.
That's a decent list, so this could really change international calls, business or personal.
Absolutely. Connecting across cultures could become genuinely easier and more personal. Less awkward pausing while you wait for a separate translation app or service. And beyond those live calls, AI is also changing how we manage calls we miss. Pixel's call screen feature, which already helps filter spam, is getting an upgrade.
Oh yeah, call screen is great. How's it getting better?
The Take a Message function within the phone app will now give you real-time transcripts for calls you miss or decline.
So I can just read what they said instead of listening to voicemail.
Exactly. Quickly see the gist. Was it important or just junk? And even smarter, it uses AI to identify potential next steps based on that message transcript. An update also coming to call notes.
Next steps.
Like if the message says, call me back about the meeting, it might suggest adding a reminder or tapping to call that number directly. Proactive suggestions.
Okay, making sense of the message for you.
Right. And then for visual tasks, there's an update to Gemini Live. If you share your camera feed, say, you're trying to fix something, Gemini can not only see what you're seeing, but it can actually provide guidance by highlighting the solution right there on your screen, pointing things out visually.
Whoa, like augmented reality guidance. That can be incredibly useful for troubleshooting.
Exactly. Or following complex instructions, learning a new skill. And again, for those with Google AI Pro, there are extra features like video generation within the Gemini app itself. What's really fascinating here, the connecting thread, is how these features go beyond just simple automation. They're delving into proactive problem solving and immediate practical help, whether it's a missed call or fixing your leaky faucet in real time.
Reducing that friction, that cognitive load. Okay, so it's not just about calls and communication. How is AI weaving into productivity and creativity on the Pixel 10?
It's quite integrated there, too. For instance, Notebook LM, Google's AI research assistant.
Right, I've heard of that.
It's now integrated with Pixel screenshots and the Recorder app. So if you take a screenshot of something, maybe an article snippet, a recipe, the phone might automatically suggest adding it to your relevant notebook in Notebook LM.
Keeping research organized automatically.
Nice. And similarly, you can add full audio transcripts from the Recorder app directly into Notebook LM. Great for interviews, lectures, meetings. Makes referencing them way easier.
No more manual transcribing or trying to find that one quote.
Exactly. Then there's Pixel Journal, which is positioned as a private space for well-being and reflection. It uses on-device AI to offer writing prompts, help you process thoughts, maybe spot patterns over time.
On-device? So private.
Yes, emphasized as locked for security and privacy. And for everyday writing, Gboard, the keyboard, gets enhanced writing tools.
More than just spell check.
Oh yeah. It can suggest rewrites in different styles, make the sound more professional, make it friendlier. It can even suggest the perfect emojis to match your tone.
Emoji suggestions.
Okay, you can even use voice commands to rephrase entire messages. And one more for the creatives. Recorder gets a feature where you can hum or sing a little melody, and then select a musical style, and the AI will transform your humming into a unique music track, like little AI backup band.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So yeah, unpacking all that, from notes to music to just texting. AI is really becoming this co-creator, this embedded assistant across almost everything you do on the phone. Okay, those Pixel features are impressive, showing AI within the apps we know. But what if AI changed the game even more fundamentally? What if the whole concept of an app became, well, obsolete?
Now you're touching on a really radical idea that's gaining traction. This vision of UI-based agents, or what some are calling an appless revolution.
Appless, seriously. Like no more grid of icons.
That's the provocative idea. At Mobile World Congress, Deutsche Telekom and a company called Brain, AI actually showed off a concept phone, the T-phone. Their vision wasn't a phone built around individual apps. Instead, it uses generative and interactive AI to create this natural conversational back and forth that helps you do, well, pretty much anything.
How does that work in practice? Is it just voice commands?
It's more than that. It has a dedicated AI button. They called it your personal genie to kick things off. But the key is the AI generates the interface you need on the fly. Deutsche Telekom CEO Tim Heckes made a really bold prediction. He said he expects the death of phone apps within 5 to 10 years because of AI.
Wow. Death of apps. Could you actually imagine a world where your phone screen doesn't have apps anymore?
It's hard to picture, isn't it?
It really is. That feels like the biggest shakeup in how we use smartphones since, gosh, the App Store launched over 15 years ago. Are we ready for that kind of change?
It's a huge question. And this concept, these UI-based agents, it's not just fancier voice control. It's about the phone dynamically building custom interfaces right there based on understanding you and your request in context. Jerry Yu from Brain.ai put it nicely, your words generate this interface.
My words generate the interface. Okay. So instead of me opening my airline app, then maybe a map app, then my calendar.
Exactly. Instead of you jumping between all those siloed apps, the AI understands your goal. It talks to the necessary services behind the scenes using their APIs.
APIs, the connectors between software.
Right. And it pulls together all the info you need, arranges it in the most useful way right there on your screen, a custom-built experience just for that task.
Okay, give me the T-phone example again, booking a flight.
So you tell the T-phone, book me a first-class flight from Barcelona to LA on October 25th. The phone doesn't open Kayak or United. It just brings up a list of the flights, arranged how you might want them, maybe by price, maybe by duration, and then you can just tap to pay, all within that single AI-generated screen. No app switching.
Okay, that sounds incredibly streamlined. What about something complex like making dinner reservations?
Think about that now. You might use Google Maps to find places, Yelp for reviews, OpenTable to book, check your calendar, message friends. It's like 5 apps minimum.
Yeah, easily.
An AI agent could handle all of that in one go. Show you options with reviews integrated, check your calendar, maybe even draft a message to your friends, all in one continuous flow.
So the big shift here.
Yeah.
It's the technology finally adapting to us and how we naturally think and talk. Instead of us having to learn and adapt to the technology's separate boxes, it's apps.
Precisely. It's about reducing that cognitive load, simplifying complex multi-step tasks into something that feels, well, almost magical.
And this whole appless idea, these UI agents, it's not just a concept phone from Deutsche Telekom. You're saying the developer community is actually building this stuff now.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of buzz around mobile AI agents. These are basically autonomous software systems powered by those large language models, the LLMs we keep talking about.
The AI brains.
Right. And these agents are designed to interact autonomously on your behalf with users and with existing mobile apps using natural language to get tasks done, like a little digital proxy running around your phone for you.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. Are there actual tools or frameworks people are using?
Yes, and this shows how fast things are moving. There are already open source frameworks emerging even before these concept phones are widely available. Take Droid Run. It's an open source framework specifically for building mobile native AI agents that can control apps on their own.
How does it control the apps?
It essentially translates the visual layout of an app's UI into structured data that the LLM can understand and then figure out how to interact with what buttons to tap, what text to enter. It's already got over 3,000 stars on GitHub, so developers are definitely interested.
3,000 stars. Yeah, that's significant interest. What else?
Then there's Apagent, which comes from Tencent. It's also an LLM-based agent framework, and it's multimodal, meaning it can handle text, images, maybe video soon. Its big claim is that it can understand and operate Android apps autonomously without needing specific code written for each app. It learns by observing.
Learns by observing. Okay.
It's powerful. There's also Mobile Agent from Tsinghua University using visual UI understanding. And AutoDroid, another Android automation system, which apparently hit some impressive benchmarks like over 90% accuracy in taking actions and over 70% success in completing tasks, even outperforming baseline GPT-4 in some tests.
Wow. So what are people using these for right now?
Early use cases include things like automating quality assurance testing for mobile apps, which is a huge task. Also, automating complex workflows, think uploading ID documents for verification or navigating through settings menus. And of course, building powerful AI assistants, maybe for people with disabilities to help them use smartphones more easily, or just for everyday tasks like creating calendar events from a conversation. The building blocks are definitely being laid. And the potential capabilities go even further. Brain.ai talks about a concept they call anything to anything.
Anything to anything. What does that mean?
It means the AI can generate new interfaces based on ones it just generated moments before. It creates this incredibly fluid, continuous interaction that adapts instantly as your thought process evolves.
Okay, I need an example for that one.
Jerry Yu's demo really showed this well. Imagine the AI shows you shopping results, including a Kindle. Instead of backing out or opening a new app, you just press your thumb on the Kindle image in the results and you say, "Show me an unboxing video." And the screen instantly splits. The YouTube unboxing video appears maybe in the bottom half. Then, while it's playing, you ask, "What's the screen size?" Or, "How do the reviews compare to the Kobo?" Each time, the interface intelligently regenerates or adjusts to incorporate the new information or context, keeping pace with your questions. You described it as literally flowing with my thinking.
Flowing with your thinking. That sounds incredibly natural compared to how we work now, constantly switching apps and losing context.
Exactly. It could feel much more humanizing, as they put it, compared to navigating the rigid structure of apps. Qualcomm's Ziad Asghar summed it up nicely, saying, generative AI increases the productivity, takes away some of the mundane, and gives you more time to do what's probably much more important.
Yeah, removing friction, giving back time. That seemed to be a core promise here. Okay, so we've heard a lot about Google and these agent concepts. But the elephant in the room, or maybe the apple in the room, what's Apple doing in this AI race? They've been relatively quiet, some might say.
Well, quiet perhaps in terms of flashy demos until recently, but definitely not inactive. A significant Bloomberg report shed light on Apple's emerging AI hardware strategy, and it's far more extensive than just making Siri a bit smarter or adding AI features to iPhones.
More extensive how? Are we talking new devices?
We are. It looks like a broad, multi-platform AI push, clearly aiming to reassert Apple's reputation for innovation in this space.
Tim Cook himself has been dropping hints, hasn't he? Talking about an amazing product pipeline, some coming soon, some later, building that classic Apple anticipation.
Exactly. It signals a comprehensive strategy across multiple device categories. They're not just reacting, they seem to be planning to define new categories of AI-powered personal tech integrated across your life.
Okay, so what's the centerpiece? What's the big reveal from this report?
The most fascinating piece is probably a tabletop robot, targeted apparently for 2027.
A robot, like an actual moving robot from Apple.
Sort of. Picture an iPad maybe, mounted on a movable limb, something that can swivel and reposition itself to physically follow users in a room. It could turn towards you if you speak to it, almost like a head turning. Maybe even try to get your attention if you're not facing it. It's designed to be a dynamic presence, not just a static screen.
Okay, that's different. What would it do?
It's envisioned as a kind of virtual companion, featuring a much more lifelike, conversational version of Siri that can engage with you throughout the day. Think of it acting almost like another person in the room. It might say, interrupt your conversation about dinner plans to suggest nearby restaurants or relevant recipes based on what it heard.
Proactive, like Magic Q, but embodied.
Exactly. And capable of proper back-and-forth discussions for planning trips, getting tasks done, a real conversational partner. Apparently, some internally call it the Pixar lamp, which is kind of fun.
Ah, I can see that.
And Apple has even published academic research on robotic light fixtures, suggesting this isn't just a wild idea. They've been working on the underlying tech. Kevin Lynch is reportedly involved in leading it, with teams from AI, hardware, software, interface design, all collaborating. It's a major effort.
So the big question then, how does a device that literally acts like a person, maybe even interrupts you, change your home life? Your social dynamics. That's a huge leap.
It really is. It takes human-computer interaction into a much more physical, interactive, and potentially socially complex space.
And beyond this, Pixar lamp robot, Apple's also pushing more into the smart home, making the ecosystem stickier.
Definitely. They seem intent on weaving AI into the fabric of your home, not just your phone or watch.
What kind of devices are we talking about?
Well, maybe sooner than the robot, possibly next year, we could see a standalone smart speaker with a display, codenamed J49Z. Think of it like a stripped-down version of the robot concept, no moving arm, maybe not the full conversational Siri initially.
So like an Amazon Echo Show or Google Nest Hub, but Apple's version?
Essentially, yes, offering home control, music, notes, web browsing, video calls. And it might feature the new visual Siri interface we need to talk about.
Okay. And home security, they're getting into that too.
Looks like it. New home security cameras, codenamed J450, are apparently planned to anchor an Apple security system. These are battery-powered, designed to last months, maybe a year, and they'll feature facial recognition and infrared sensors to know who is in a room, not just that someone is there.
Facial recognition for automation.
That's the idea. Imagine cameras throughout the home helping automate things. Lights turn off when you leave a room. Music starts playing that a specific family member likes when they walk in. They've even reportedly tested a doorbell with facial recognition to unlock doors, clearly taking aim at Ring, Nest, Roku, and the smart home security space.
So, yeah, it sounds like they want Apple AI managing your lights, your music, your security.
Yeah.
making the Apple ecosystem the central hub for your whole home.
And absolutely central to all of this, whether it's the robot, the smart display, or even just your iPhone, is a complete overhaul of Siri.
Finally, many would say Siri needs it.
Ha, indeed. Apple seems to agree. They're planning a range of AI-powered versions. The Linwood project, maybe releasing as early as next spring, involves building an entirely new brain for Siri using large language models. LLMs again.
So smarter, more capable Siri.
That's the goal. Designed to tap into your personal data contacts, calendar, messages, presumably with permissions to fulfill queries in a much more intelligent, contextual way, trying to overcome the limitations Siri has faced.
And it's getting a visual redesign too, not just voice.
Yes. This LLM Siri is set to debut alongside a visually redesigned assistant for iPhones and iPads next year. More engaging, more dynamic interaction. Apple's software chief, Craig Federighi, basically said it's a much bigger upgrade than we envisioned and that there is no project people are taking more seriously. High stakes.
Are they building it all themselves or looking outside?
That's interesting, too. They have the internal Linwood project, but also another one called Glenwood, exploring the possibility of using outside tech. They've reportedly tested Anthropic's Claude AI and evaluated OpenAI's ChatGPT and Google's Gemini as potential partners. So they're keeping options open to get the best tech integrated.
And visually, you mentioned bubbles.
Yeah, a bit of personality.
Yeah.
The visual interface is apparently dubbed Bubbles. Designers are considering things like animated versions of the Finder logo, or maybe Memoji, to give Siri a visual presence.
Shades of Microsoft Clippy, maybe. Hopefully less annoying. But the point is, this isn't just making Siri smarter at answering questions. It's a complete rethink, a conversational interface that's more intuitive, context-aware, visually engaging, almost like a character within the Apple world.
Okay, so you have these new home devices, the robot, the smart display, and this new Super Siri.
Yeah.
What operating system ties it all together? You mentioned Charismatic. Right, codename Charismatic. Apparently, it was previously known internally as Pebble or Rock. And it sounds like it's not just a modified iOS or macOS.
A whole new OS. Why?
Because it's designed from the ground up, specifically for these shared multi-user home environments. It blends approaches from tvOS, Apple TV, and watchOS, which are already geared towards simpler interactions and sometimes shared use.
Multi-user is key then. How does that work?
It features robust multi-user modes and personalized clock face themes like that Snoopy one you mentioned for a bit of fun. But the really clever part is how it handles switching users. The devices will use a front-facing camera to scan your face as you approach.
Scan your face.
Yeah. And based on who it recognizes, it automatically changes the layout, the features, the content displayed to that person's preferences and data. Seamless switching without logins.
Okay, that's pretty futuristic. Walk up and it just knows it's you and shows your stuff.
Exactly. The interface itself is also different. Reportedly, circular app icons, maybe a hexagonal grid layout. But critically, it relies heavily on voice interaction, that new Siri and widgets for information, rather than the traditional model of constantly jumping in and out of separate apps.
So less app-centric, more ambient and voice-driven.
That seems to be the philosophy, a complete departure from the phone's app grid, designed for shared, context-aware interaction in a home setting, making the tech fade into the background a bit more.
Okay, this future sounds incredibly advanced, maybe even a bit magical sometimes, the T-phone, the Apple robot. But let's bring it back down to earth a bit. All this amazing tech, it doesn't come without real-world costs and some serious challenges, right?
Absolutely not. It's crucial we address those. It's not just about can we build it, but should we, and how do we do it responsibly?
So first off, the cost. This stuff sounds expensive to develop and probably expensive to buy. Is there a risk of creating a bigger digital divide?
That's a definite concern. The high costs of R&D for cutting-edge AI, especially complex on-device solutions, could make these innovations less accessible. We often see the coolest tech hitting premium price points first.
Right. But you mentioned Qualcomm's 8th Gen 3 chip earlier, trying to bring AI down market.
Yes, and that's a positive sign. Companies are aware of this, and some are actively trying to democratize access, bringing powerful AI features to more affordable smartphones. But it's still a tension.
And what about the environmental cost? If everyone's upgrading their phones even faster to get the latest AI, that means more old phones getting tossed.
That's another huge concern, electronic waste or e-waste. If AI integration really does drive faster upgrade cycles, people wanting the newest chip, the latest features, it could significantly increase the amount of discarded electronics, a major environmental challenge we need to grapple with.
Yeah, it's easy to forget that side of things when chasing the new shiny object. So the broader impact. We love new tech, but we have to think about the planet and making sure it's fair for everyone.
Exactly. It's part of the bigger picture. And even putting aside cost and e-waste, just getting this cutting-edge AI to work reliably on a phone isn't always straightforward, even with powerful new chips.
There are practical hurdles, hardware limits.
Definitely. We've seen examples already. Google's Gemini Nano, their powerful on-device model, apparently faced some integration challenges with the hardware in the existing Pixel 8. It limited some of the advanced features they might have wanted to roll out on that specific device, at least initially.
So the software promise sometimes bumps up against what the hardware can actually handle smoothly.
Precisely. It highlights this constant struggle between AI's theoretical potential and the practical realities of smartphone hardware constraints. It's not just plug and play. You have to consider processing power, yes, but also battery life. These models can be power hungry. Heat dissipation is another issue, and doing all that within a reasonable cost for the final product.
So it raises that question. How do you bridge the gap between what the AI could do and what the device can actually deliver day to day without dying by lunchtime or costing a fortune?
It's a continuous balancing act for engineers, always pushing the envelope, but always constrained by physics and economics.
Okay, let's talk about another huge one. Privacy and data security. This feels like it gets amplified with AI, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. AI systems, especially ones that learn and personalize, are incredibly data hungry. They often need access to vast amounts of your personal information. Think communication patterns, location history, browsing habits, maybe even health data down the line, all to learn about you and make predictions or suggestions.
And that, understandably, raises huge fears. How is this data being used? How securely is it protected?
The risks are real. Data breaches, identity theft, misuse of sensitive information. These aren't theoretical anymore.
We have laws like IPA for health data in the US and GDPR in Europe for general data privacy. Aren't those enough?
They're crucial frameworks, absolutely. But the speed at which AI is evolving creates new complexities that these laws often struggle to keep pace with. The way data is inferred or combined can create privacy risks that weren't envisioned when the laws were written.
So what are the solutions, beyond just hoping companies do the right thing?
It requires a multi-layered approach. Strong data security protocols are table stakes. Encryption, robust access controls, strong authentication, but also strategies like data minimization, only collecting what's truly necessary, anonymization techniques to strip out identifiable information where possible, and, critically, transparent data usage policies that people can actually understand, and clear, explicit user consent mechanisms. You need to be in control.
So, yeah, unpacking that, the convenience AI offers demands incredible trust. And we as users need to be really vigilant about our digital footprint and how it's being used.
And closely related to privacy is another critical ethical issue, algorithmic bias. This is a huge one.
Bias in the AI itself, how does that happen?
AI and machine learning models are very susceptible to bias. It can creep in multiple ways. Often it stems from the data used to train the AI. If the training data is skewed, maybe it underrepresents certain demographic groups, certain races, sexes, socioeconomic backgrounds, and the AI learns those biases. Or the bias can come from flaws in the algorithm's design itself, maybe assumptions made by the developers.
And the consequences. If a biased AI is making decisions,
the consequences can be profound, especially in sensitive areas, disparities in diagnosis or treatment recommendations in healthcare, for example. An algorithm trained mostly on data from one group might simply be less accurate for other groups, leading to misdiagnoses or inappropriate suggestions.
So it could actually worsen existing inequalities.
It absolutely can amplify them if we're not careful. So, addressing this requires a really concerted effort. Prioritizing diverse and representative training data is step one. We also need to use specific algorithmic fairness techniques, tools designed to detect and mitigate bias during training or afterwards. And ensuring the models are transparent and interpretable helps us understand how biases might be creeping in. Regular audits, evaluations by diverse teams, it's an ongoing process.
What's fascinating and scary is how our own societal biases, embedded in the data we create, can get baked into and even magnified by these supposedly objective machines.
Exactly. It raises that crucial question. How do we design AI, not just for cool features, but for genuine societal benefit?
Sure.
How do we actively design for equity?
And that ties into the next challenge, doesn't it? The black box problem. Even if the AI isn't biased, sometimes we just don't know how it reached its conclusion.
That's right. The opacity of some complex AI models poses significant challenges for transparency and explainability. Professionals using the AI, and even the people affected by its decisions, can struggle to understand how the algorithm arrived at its prediction or recommendation.
Which naturally leads to skepticism, right?
Yeah.
Hard to trust something if you have no idea how it works.
Precisely, especially in high-stakes areas. Knowing why an AI suggests a particular course of action can be just as important as the suggestion itself. We need the reasoning.
So how do you crack open the black box? What are the solutions there?
There are techniques focused on model interpretability. Things like feature importance analysis, figuring out which input data points most influence the outcome, or methods like LIME, which try to explain individual predictions. Organizations can also help by providing algorithmic transparency reports, documents explaining how a model was developed, validated, what its performance looks like, and crucially, translating the complex outputs into plain language explanations that non-experts can actually understand is vital. It needs to be meaningful.
And accountability. Who's responsible if a black box AI gets it wrong?
That's essential too. Clear lines of accountability need to be established for everyone involved: the developers, the organizations deploying the AI, the regulators, and the professionals using the tool.
So the bottom line is, we need to understand the how and the why, not just the what, especially when AI starts making important suggestions in our lives.
And finally, even with the most sophisticated, unbiased, transparent AI, we can't forget the human element. The role of people remains absolutely irreplaceable.
How so? Isn't the point to automate things?
To augment, yes, but not necessarily to replace entirely, especially critical judgment. Professionals, for instance, have a profound responsibility to critically evaluate AI output. They need to use it as a supportive tool, not as a standalone decision maker that they blindly follow.
So they need training on how the AI works, its limits, its potential biases.
Exactly. And they must be prepared to question it, to even override its suggestions if their own expertise and clinical judgment dictate otherwise. The AI assists, the human decides.
Okay, that makes sense. What about for us, just regular users? Is there a risk?
There's a broader societal concern about device dependency. As our phones and other gadgets become incredibly smart and handle more tasks for us, there's a risk we become overly reliant on them. Maybe our ability to perform certain tasks independently, or even just navigate without GPS, could atrophy over time.
The convenience trap.
Kind of. And think about communication. AI can make it super efficient, summarizing emails, drafting replies, maybe even handling simple calls. But that efficiency also raises concerns about the irreplaceable value of genuine human connection, empathy, shared experiences. Things AI can't replicate. We need to consciously balance the automation with maintaining real human bonds to avoid social isolation.
So connecting this all together, it's really about using AI to augment human intelligence, not replace it, making sure we enhance our lives without losing our essential human skills and connections.
That's the goal, designing these systems to enhance our capabilities while fiercely protecting and nurturing our capacity for independent thought, critical judgment, and genuine human connection. Hashtag tag outro.
Wow. What an incredible deep dive that was into the future of our most personal tech. We've really seen how AI is transforming our smartphones from just smart tools into these intuitive, proactive companions, almost blurring the lines between a device and like an intelligent agent working for you.
Happening fast.
From Google's Magic Q trying to anticipate your next move to that wild T-phone concept suggesting a future without apps, and then Apple envisioning actual robots in our homes.
Yeah.
The pace of innovation is just breathtaking.
It truly is. But, as we spent a good chunk of time discussing, this evolution doesn't come without some significant hurdles. We have the economic costs, the environmental impact of e-waste, and those crucial ethical considerations: privacy, bias, transparency, accountability. These aren't afterthoughts. They have to be central.
Right. It's clear that while the potential for these incredibly helpful, intelligent devices seems almost boundless, we absolutely need a thoughtful, human-centered approach as we build this future.
Couldn't agree more.
So what does this all mean for you, our listener, listening right now?
Well, these devices are becoming extensions of ourselves in ways we're really only just starting to wrap our heads around, anticipating our needs, streamlining our lives. It's a fundamental shift.
And it leaves us with a really interesting question to ponder, doesn't it?
Yeah.
As AI becomes this silent, powerful engine driving our personal devices, what new aspects of our human experience will we choose to automate away for the sake of convenience? And just as importantly, what aspects will we fiercely protect as uniquely, essentially our creativity, our empathy, our critical thinking, our connections? It's something we're thinking about as these innovations move from concept to reality, very quickly becoming part of our daily lives.
That is a powerful thought to leave everyone with. We really hope this deep dive has given you a clearer picture of the incredible and, sometimes challenging future of AI in our personal devices. Until next time, keep digging, keep questioning, and keep exploring.